type in special education funding, it'll bring you to every year, okay? And then all the Excel sheets. And then if you click on that, you'll see where they show like a base rate from like 13, 14. So it's like a hold harmless. Like they're not going to take anything away from you. And then they add on.
Why is that one and the formulas almost identical to York and Harrisburg, but yet the monies we actually get is so much less? I can't figure that out. Because I did look at this.
Yeah.
I did look at that. So let's keep looking.
Yeah.
Meeting for the purpose of a board vacancy to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Orr, roll call, please.
Ms. Cruz?
Here.
Mrs. Dixon?
Here.
Ms. Fox?
Present.
Ms. Hume?
Here.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Mrs. Welby?
Here.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Martin?
Present.
8 present.
The purpose of this special meeting is for the board vacant seat and has been duly advertised. We do not have any speakers signed up this evening, so if we may ask our candidates to be sequestered into our caucus room at this time.
I do want to say that we had 4 candidates and I have 3 that signed in. Is there any that did not sign in?
Okay, thank you.
You'll follow Mr. Doherty? No, not yet. We'll come back for one of them.
Do you have the order they've signed in?
Yes,
correct?
I do.
Okay, I'm just making sure you cover it
Yeah.
over with something else here. Yeah, okay. Everyone has their information and their sheets. You're all set? Okay. And may we have our first candidate, please?
Call. The first candidate is going to be Dorothy Brill.
I can be the runner if she needs me to.
Or you may come to the podium, whichever you prefer. You
I'll
have-
stay here.
Very good. You have 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then we each have some questions for you.
Okay. Great. So, when I first learned about this vacancy, the reason I was interested is I do have 11 plus years in this area in both education and workforce development. I was a former Scranton School District teacher for 4.5 years. So I do know what the teachers are up against in the district. But then also in my current day job at PA Curricle in Lackawanna, I work with 17 to 24-year-old youth that primarily are coming right out of the Scranton School District, either as high school dropouts or graduates looking for additional training or support. So again, I do come with the very unique perspective of seeing it from current and very recent graduates, that, you know, what they need and what they want out of the school district.
Thank you very much. I will be asking a question on Mrs. Yanni's behalf, just so it can be heard. What is your motivation for coming forward at this time to serve on the school board?
Definitely my motivation is, recently I got involved with Junior League of Scranton last year as a provisional member the first year that we served. And that really reignited my ability to be interested in serving the community that I've lived in my whole entire life.
Thank you. Rob?
Hi, you're probably aware, if you're working with this, that we are facing an enormous funding shortfall and we're in financial recovery. The district really needs to ensure that the state gives us fair funding. Do you have any ideas on how we as a board can work to try and achieve a fair level of funding from the state?
That's a very good.
I'm sorry, if it's too specific, I'll pull it back.
No,
and
that's
change my
okay.
question. That's
So definitely, I think communication is key. Definitely, transparency needs to happen so that everyone is aware of what is currently going on. But also, everyone at this point needs to pull together. There can be no more bickering of, well, we're the teachers, we're the students, we're the board. We all need to work together for the betterment of the school district.
a great answer, thank you.
Mr. Schuster?
What do you feel are the challenges facing our school district? And the second part of that, which is not really interrelated, is if you did get this appointment tonight in 2 years, would you plan on running for election?
So to answer your first question, living in the community that my whole entire life, I have seen firsthand some of the issues that we know people are leaving Scranton. Also, we're up against a school district where students do come from diverse cultural and socioeconomical backgrounds, meaning that there are students in the district that, unfortunately for them, they are not going home to the most, safe environment or the most financially secure environment, and what they're getting in the school might be the only thing they're eating for the night. And then to answer your second part of the question, I don't know, because if you had told me a year ago I would be sitting here tonight doing this, I would have told you absolutely not. But I would definitely consider it.
Gretchen?
So if faced with the decision to cut a specific program or services, what type of data would you look to help you make that decision?
Definitely I would want to see what the program or services have done or is currently doing for the students of the Scranton School District. But also, we are at a point in the school district where we have to look at the bottom line sometimes and make those hard decisions. And sometimes coming up with creative ways of working collaboratively with other nonprofits, for example, or other things like that to get the funding to keep a program might be beneficial. But if it came down to, unfortunately, having to make that decision, as long as the data proved that that was the right decision, it would have to come down to the firm being cut.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Girl. Thank you so much for your courage and your willingness to apply for this vacancy. As you just said, you are a lifelong resident of the city of Scranton, and in your application letter, you said you were were 2003 graduate of West Grand High School. So with that background, what do you believe are the strengths of our school district?
Definitely, it's the students, but also the teachers that put themselves out there every day to support the students, in becoming the leaders of tomorrow. For example, I've seen countless of times with being friends with many of the teachers and watching the posts come across the Scranton School District Facebook pages, all the different programs and innovations that are coming out. Definitely there is potential there, and definitely I can say, working with the Scranton School District students, they are the ones that come out of high school, coming to our building knowing exactly what they want and how to advocate for that.
So my question for you is, we will be under financial recovery for the length of this term, so how do you believe that that will potentially impact your service?
Definitely I would be interested in assisting any way I possibly could. With the financial recovery, I think that that is something that the district needs at this time in order to sustain themselves for the future.
And finally, my own question. We're in a very unique position here. Ordinarily, the public chooses the people who sit in these seats, and we all have to make it work. Now we are faced with hand-selecting individuals who suit the needs of this particular board. Knowing a little bit about what goes on here, as I'm sure you've been paying attention to the news and do even know some of us personally, what quality, skills, and experience do you bring to this specific group of people on the board at this time?
Definitely, recently I've become a leader, not only stepping up to lead the provisional project for Junior League of Scranton, but also a leader at work. In both roles, I've had to work with teams of women, which could be challenging at times, especially when they have diverse characteristics and diverse wants and needs. So with that being said, I definitely think I would bring a sense of collaboration to the board, but also continued support for the transparency and communication that has been happening.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. We can have our next candidate, please. Thank you. No, just the one on this side. The length of time is 2 years. Yes. It is the rest of March, but he and I ran at the bar, ran at the same time. Oh. So we're right at the half.
I swear someone said something else.
Perfect. This one with the names. Never a few times, but I am a sustainer in the league now, which means all I do is pay my dues and show up and smile. Surely. I don't have to go to meetings anymore, I don't have to haul anything. I just support. How are you?
Good, how you doing today?
Thank you. You have 2 minutes for an opening statement,
Okay.
and then we have some questions for you.
Sounds good. I'm Sean McAndrew. I've been living in Scranton my entire life. I purchased my home here. I graduated from Penn State with my bachelor's degree in business marketing management, and I also received a graduate certificate in public budgeting and finance. I'm former president and member of the Scranton Parks and Recs Board. The reason I'm here today is very excited to help our district get back on track. I know throughout the past few years, there's been some negativity surrounding the district, but you can feel momentum and a breath of fresh air with, brand new directors, 3 returning strong directors. We have a brand new superintendent, and we have back a finance recovery plan. I know it's not going to be easy. I know there's a lot of hurdles, a lot of financial hurdles with long-term debt. We also are, the fair funding, we're short thousands of dollars per student, and with, close to $10,000, that's millions of dollars we're not getting. I think with my education and the background in that, I could roll up my sleeves and help out with the finances on day one. And, with being on the Parks and Recs board, I understand policy and procedure, which I think is one of the most important things that a school board director has to follow. I understand that this isn't just a few meetings a month, it's a 24/7 commitment, and I really just want to ensure academic excellence for our students that are currently in the district and in the future, and hopefully one day my own children.
I'm going to ask a question on behalf of Mrs. Yanni, who is on the telephone, just so that it's more clear.
No problem.
What has motivated you to come forward at this time to apply to serve on the school board?
I think it's just the change of the dynamic of the board. I think it's great that we have a lot of new members, and I think that with the recovery plan and there's, like I said earlier, there's a lot of momentum. There's changes that we know have to be made, and the board is making the correct steps to get us back on track. So I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I just really want to be a part of the process.
As you know, when you just mentioned in your speech the fair funding, how do you think we as a board and we as a district should be working to try and achieve a fair funding level from the state?
Yeah, well, the first thing is contacting our state reps, contacting our senators, and coming together as one united board with ideas. And there's a fight on our hands. We have to, again, compared to other districts of our size, we're getting thousands of dollars less. Well, why is that happening to our children or our students? So I think it's just coming together with a plan, whether it's going down to Harrisburg or anything like that, and just coming together to fight for the fair funding, because it's if we don't get that every year, and the long-term debt we have, it's just not going to help us get out of it. It's just going to keep adding up and adding up. And it's one of the most important things I think we're facing right now.
Thank you. Tom?
So I have two questions. I
Sure.
can roll them into one. First, what are the challenges facing our school district? And then if you got this appointment today, would you be planning on running in
Sure.
the next election?
So besides the fair funding, one of the most recent ones is the buildings that are in disrepair. We have numerous buildings that have, asbestos. There's lead in the water. At Scranton High, there's a sprinkler issue. There's a lot of issues with our buildings that we have to ensure the safety and welfare of our children and our teachers and staff. So that's one of the biggest issues. I think another issue is, unfunded mandates. When we have things we have to do, we don't get funding for it. Whether we get it for a year, we don't get it after that, or if we don't get it at all, we have to find money to make sure we are, doing what it needs to be done. And I think another thing, where I was just in the recovery meeting today, I think it's we have a data issue. I think a lot of data that we were given to the recovery plan isn't correct or complete. So all the decisions that need to be made, they have to go back and, from what I took, they have to go back and run more data, and it's just delaying the process. It's making it harder for them to implement their changes in their plan. As to your second question about running, absolutely. I know I can make a great impact in 2 years, but this recovery plan thing and getting back on track to where we need to be, I definitely think I want to be involved with it beyond the 2 years.
Thank you. If faced with the decision to cut a program or special services, what data would you look to help?
Well, the first thing is how many students are affected. I would need numbers, financial numbers. Why are we cutting it? How much is it going to cost? Is there ways we could find the funding somewhere else? Can we work with our, is there a way we can get a grant for it? Is there community outreach we can do it? So there's a lot of data, and that's where I go back to having correct data. If we have the correct data that we have, that we can look into and make a sound decision that not what's the best for the overall district. So I think it's just really getting the data, seeing what the numbers are, and making a sound decision of what is overall best for the district.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew, for your willingness and your courage for applying for this vacancy. As a lifelong resident of Scranton, as somebody who's familiar with the district, what do you believe are our strengths?
Well, first and foremost, our strengths are our students. We have students who achieve great things every day and every year. So I think that's something we definitely need to keep celebrating and keep recognizing. And also, we have some of the best teachers in the district. So, helping them with their professional growth is only going to make our district stronger and make our students stronger.
Thank you.
We will be under financial recovery for the length of this term. How do you believe this will impact your service?
Impacting our services because it's more important now than ever. We need to set a sound foundation, of yes, we need to fix what happened in the past and why we're in this mess. But we also need to make adjustments and corrections to make sure and set guidelines so we make sure this doesn't happen again. Like even with the information with the data. All right, we understand that we don't have correct data, but what are we doing going forward? Are we collecting correctly going forward? So when this happens, if there's an issue that comes up, we don't have to circle back. We're ready to go. Here's what we have. Here's the numbers. And we can go right forward and make a decision and not have to, waste any more time. Because the more time we waste, the more debt we're getting.
Now, my own question.
Okay.
We're in a somewhat unique position here. Ordinarily, the public selects the people who sit in these chairs, and we have gone several times through the process of hand-selecting people to complement this group. So what qualities, skills, experience would you bring specifically to lend to this group of
Okay.
people?
Well, personally, I think my education background with my graduate certificate of public budgeting and finance, which is a huge issue. Again, being on a board, I follow policy and procedure. I've put things out for bid, approved contracts, and made decisions what's best for the overall when I was in the park for the parks. One thing I think that I help is I'm a team player. I think we need to be a united board. And the one thing, whether I get this position or whoever gets it, I don't want to hear, and I hate hearing, especially in the Times, and I know there's probably a reporter here, but the majority minority. Whatever decision we make as a board, we're not always going to agree. But once the decision is made, I think we all need to stand by it as a united front. And I think it's just a culture of a board where we all work together. Any team, any family, any business, goals are more achieved when you work together, and it's just a better process.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Any questions?
Are there only 3 candidates there?
Yes.
Yes.
Stephanie Davis is here, but James Malloy is just coming.
Okay, thank you.
If he didn't tell him to send his.
Good evening.
Hello. Good, thank you. Did I just launch?
Yeah, just launch. You have 2 minutes for
All
your
right.
opening statement,
Well,
sir.
I won't dilly-dally.
And then we have some questions.
Okay, members of the board, my name is Jim Malloy. I live in the Hill section, and I am married to Lynn, and I have a son, George. George goes to Prescott School, and so did I, for that matter, slightly earlier, like the 1970s earlier. I was just talking with Dorothy and Sean. I can tell you that it reinforced the first thing that I wanted to say to you, which is, I'm glad this is an election. Number one, I don't think I'd be standing here if this was an election, because an election expects that you're going to promote yourself, which I'm not very good at, and to tear your opponents down, which I have no interest in doing, because these 2 kids are great. I'm very impressed with them, and if you choose one of those 2 kids, you're going to do just fine. And that's what's really important, is the success of this board. Can I help with the success of the board, I guess, is what you're asking yourselves and what you're going to ask me in a few minutes. And I wanted to let you know I do have decades of experience as a trial attorney. I've been making big money deals for decades. As a part of that deal making, you have to make difficult decisions. And not only do you have to make difficult decisions, but you have to explain the reasons for the decisions, both before the decisions are made and after the decisions are made. And I feel like that is a particular gift that acquired that would be beneficial to being a board member. Speaking of decisions, Lynn and I decided to have George go to public school rather than private school. And one of the reasons is because we appreciate the diversity that public education offers to him as a more accurate reflection of society. And why is it important you know that about me? I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a white male. A certain seeming comfortable socioeconomic status. And if that's the only perspective that I'm bringing to this board, then I'm doing it wrong. And the fact that I'm aware of that, I think, speaks to my intention to be better than that. That's it.
Thank you very much. I am going to ask a question on behalf of Mrs. Yanni, who is on the phone.
Okay.
Sure. What motivated you to come forward at this particular time to serve on the school board?
When I guess the second time there was an opening, it occurred to me that someone in a position like I am to offer what I think I'm able to offer to the board would not be doing his job as a citizen of the community if he or she did not offer their services. Like I said, if this was an election, I wouldn't be standing for it. But the fact that there's an opening, with a limited amount of time to fill, that's something that I'd have a hard time looking at myself in the mirror if I knew that people were interested in me doing this and I didn't rise to the occasion.
As you're aware, we're in, at the moment, a battle for fair funding. We are not being well paid or well serviced by the state. How do you feel that we as a board and we as a community should go about trying to rectify the shortfall in the funding we're getting from the state?
It sounds to me like that's a matter of organizing and getting volunteers together and having petitions signed and the like. I wouldn't be candid with this board if I didn't tell you that I'm not all that certain how to do this job because I don't know enough about it yet. I'm a bit of a blank slate, but I'm willing to learn how to do it, and I understand from reading certain things that there's both mandatory and elective training and so forth. And again, I'm willing to put the work in. And you know, not to get all Liam Neeson on you, but I do have a particular set of skills that I think translate very well to this position. I know I got away from your question, Ro, but apart from organizing, getting volunteers and petitioning, I don't have any other ideas other than that. That's probably because I don't know exactly how this works.
So I have a combination of two questions. What are the challenges facing that particular school district? And the second one would be if you got disappointed or if you didn't get disappointed, would you run for election in 2 years?
I can answer those in reverse order. No. I think it's the challenges facing the board, as I understand them, from my limited perspective, are there's not enough money. And there's not enough money to do everything that this board wants to do right by the kids and by the parents and by the teachers and by the unions and by the community at large. So you got a limited amount of resources and you have to figure out how best to make decisions about how to expend those resources. I can help with that. I have no concrete plan as I'm standing here in front of you right now, but I know that that's the problem. It's the problem in a lot of our lives, right? There's just not enough money to go around. And taking into account everybody's interests, the teachers, the kids, and the parents, it's got to be tough. I don't envy what the board is doing, has done, and I obviously I know it's going to be difficult if you want me to take the vacant position.
Thank you.
If faced with the decision to cut a program or services, what data would you look to help you make that decision?
Okay. Well, I have a feeling that since I'm one of 9, we'll all be working together on the same data that we. But I understand this is a hypothetical question, so ask me one more time and I'll see if I can.
So if you have to cut a service or a program,
Right.
What will help you make that decision?
Okay.
What factors would you?
I mean, I would read up on everything about the program that was being considered for cutting, see what was good about it, what was bad about it, what was essential about it, what was non-essential about it. And the same goes for the service, how important. And I guess the best way to answer that about the services is, who are we affecting if we cut the service? Who's gonna, at some point, somebody, when there's a limited amount of money, has to get the short end of the stick. So who's getting the short end of the stick? And why is it more fair that this group should get it rather than another group should get it? She was really impressed by that.
Mr. Malloy, thank you for your willingness and courage for applying for this vacancy. As a resident of the city of Scranton and as the father of a district student and as a graduate of the district yourself, what do you believe are the strengths of the Scranton School District?
Well, I'm a product of it myself. So again, like I said during my opening remarks, brief as they were, diversity stands out as one of the qualities that I value most about it. I mean, it's no, I don't think the members of this board are unaware of the fact that public education is the keystone of democracy. As a matter of fact, I think I saw that written somewhere, and I believe that to be the case. I see Mr. O'Donnell at Prescott School outside every morning, greeting every student as they come in, greeting every parent as they drop their kid off. And that kind of personal touch and demonstration of the care and commitment that the school district employees like Mr. O'Donnell and the teachers that I've seen has been consistent throughout my experience with Prescott School, both from when I was a student there and having my son there now. He's there for his 5th year. So yeah, it's the teachers care, the administrators care, the kids are good kids, even though they're chuckleheads some of the time. And it's a good group. It's a nice peer group that my son is involved in, and all the parents that, I'm an old dad, because we didn't get started until I was like 41, 42, but all of the parents that I've met too are just wonderful people, and it's a wonderful place to raise a child and educate a child.
Thank you. Okay, so we will be under financial recovery for the length of this term. How do you believe that will impact your service?
Other than being cognizant of it at all times and constrained by it, I don't know. I feel like that's, again, more of a question that you might be asking somebody who is going to be making a decision solo, but I see this as like a team effort. So other than, I have a feeling that if you should choose me, and again, remember, I think it's okay if you choose me, but if you should choose me, I would be learning on the job at least for a while. So I would study every issue. I would take the mandatory educational requirements, much like they do in my profession. Like as a lawyer, you don't get to renew your license unless you take 12 continuing legal education credits a year. So I don't know if I have a strong answer for you at this point, but I'm definitely willing to do the work and learn about it.
And finally, my own question. We're in a unique situation here. Ordinarily, the public chooses the people who sit in these seats, and we have had several opportunities to hand select someone who complements this group. What qualities, skills, or experience do you bring that you think would specifically fill a need we have with this group?
Well, as I said, I feel like I'm aware of the fact that while the perspective of someone who looks like me and is in a socioeconomic position like I am, is expected to think a certain thing, and is expected to act a certain way, and is expected to have a certain perspective. I think I'm outside of that particular mold. I like to think that I can put myself in anybody's shoes, and I can see all issues from all sides, and that's what I've been doing professionally for 25 years. That's what I've been doing. The fact of the matter is that I read all the time. I read very fast. I comprehend very well. See, this is the part where I have to promote myself, and I don't like it. I have a
your quarters there. Oh, yes, we have them right here.
Again, because I wrote on mine. I marked mine up.
Everybody has what they need.
Wait a minute,
Power
I lost the
texting
one I
like I
just
do.
took. Well, give me one.
Do you need one?
So it's correct then that we just have the 3 candidates, right?
Yes, we have Dorothy Grill, James Malloy, and Sean McAndrew. So,
I will go ahead and text,
that's your selection.
Yeah,
To Jim.
Dorothy spoke first, Sean spoke second, James spoke last.
okay.
Yes,
It looks.
Yes, I'm sorry,
It
that
looks
is
like,
out of
it
order.
looks like James spoke second and Sean spoke first.
So, yes, to clarify that, it was Dorothy, then Sean, then James. Just in the order of speaking.
Sorry.
Yes, we sign, we do sign. Everybody sign.
Make sure we all sign.
Very
And it said, this was subject.
Three very, very impressive candidates.
be 3 seats right there. Isn't that convenient?
Absolutely, right?
few minutes talking about how we could choose any one of you. This was absolutely a delight this evening. You all came beautifully prepared with wonderful answers, and I hope everyone in the audience enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. And whether it's appropriate or not, I hope those of you who aren't left this evening will consider running. This is a very hopeful moment for the Scranton School District. With that being said, we do have Mr. Malloy with 5 votes, and may I have a motion to continue the vote?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Mrs. Orr, roll call.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Hume?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mrs. Welby?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Ms. Goodmartin?
Yes.
8 affirmative.
Paperwork for you to sign, and our solicitor will.
Standing solicitor.
Yes. Is it always this exciting when you stand in?
She's probably going to read.
Yeah, I'll be reading.
Okay.
Just because I know this from last month, they throw this all at you right now. You'll be sworn in and then you'll sit down and we'll get started. I didn't know. I was texting my husband, I'm like, oh.
It sounds like something that was in the fine print.
I read the fine print.
Please stand.
Yes.
And raise your right hand. I
I, James Malloy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend the Constitution
obey, and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, sir.
Should I go on?
Make your rounds.
I'll feel better. Just fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may have a motion to adjourn